I guess we need plenty of these.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's go to call to the community. Now, the community level, you know what you want to call.
Yeah, Eric is fine. Very, very fine.
Yes, Vice Chair, no, Eric is here for item 4B. We have no other requests to speak this evening on non-agenda.
Okay, we'll want to get to that. Approval of minutes. Isn't your lady something?
Vice Chair, I have no presentation, though it is always just some such. I think I answer any questions or will look for a motion on our minutes for our last meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve as presented.
One second.
We have a motion and a second. To approve as presented, all considered aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. None. So now we move on to the signs edition. Another, again,
Vice Chair, thank you. We're going together this evening for this item 4B. This is the science edition. It's PC 2603. The honor Eric is here with us this evening. He's at 460 East Sarah Lane. Now, this is a request for you this evening to recommend approval to the zoning administrator, our new language, new code update, or in addition to an existing home. The zoning is R1. This is at the north end of the city, north of Third Lane. The request for add the major renovation first, and then a porch, patio spaces, RV garage onto an existing home, and the roofing will be updated as well as the stucco as part of this redo. In front of the street, this is an older picture, but not much to change quite yet. I'll show you on the west slides. The bulk of the addition is here on the west and south. From above, again, the existing dwelling and the extents of the additions. I have opportunity to speak with Lydia Reyes, the architect, looking at here, the lot coverage percentage as shown on the conceptuals. If you round up, is over the max, so when this does come forward for the building plan and the building permit, it will need to slightly reduce by that thing.
But we got that figured out to where it's coming from.
Wonderful.
Underground, you just gonna take deeper.
No,
No, the back porch will be reduced by a foot and a half.
yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you, and as a, and just for the record, I don't have like to help you. As mentioned, the rear patio report space would be reduced to accommodate myself. So again, major renovations inside the house. New spaces, new courtyard spaces along the front, outdoor fireplace, new front entry, as well as the RV garage here at the west end of the site. The pictures from the front and from the inside, so do not think of this as the public facing west side, which that on the next slide. You'll see changes in the massing and changes in the roof line, as well as all these, updates to the facade, the front entryway, courtyard lot. Views from the rear, internal to the lot, as well as from the street side, the west side. There are clear story windows that go from one end to the other. And again, garage space existing in the cycles. Now, as far as analysis goes, and here's the struggles of our new law and how I need to have this conversation with you. The inclusion of an RV which exceeds the height of the remainder of the home, we felt as though qualify this for the enhanced tract. There's a streamlined tract which is perfunctory, I'll say, as far as more simple cases, more straightforward cases. And there's the enhanced track where there's something that may result in a broader conversation to have with the board. Now, section 39 does not have any objective standards relating to maximum for the garage. However, it does have language regarding the fall. The garage should not be the dominant feature. I can't get hung up on that with you all because that is a subjective conversation. However, shall be located a minimum of 5 feet back from the entry feature or living area in the owner of large lot developments. As far as its location on site, it does meet that objective standard of being 5 feet or more from the front plane. So, with that analysis in mind, our request for you this evening is to recommend approval to the zoning administrator for file EZ 2603 at 460 Estero, subject to the exhibits within the packet and for stipulations below. Building permit issued by the city is required before any construction is to occur. A fire sprinkler system must be installed due to the structure being greater than 5,000 square feet in the roof. Provide on-site retention for the 100-year 6-hour event for new construction with a maximum 12-inch depth, including bullets. And 4, the proposed addition cannot exceed a maximum lot coverage of 30%. Number 4 is already within code standards. However, we do like to restate things like that, like the building permit, so we're all marching towards the same finish line. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding this proposal.
Any questions for Mr. Cole?
I guess I might have some questions for these applicant meetings that are, but. Yeah, so I'll hold those again.
Councilmember Barron, Watson, any questions for staff before we turn to the applicant?
Nope.
Wonderful, thank you.
Mhm.
Eric, I have a lectern and a microphone, if you'd like to come up.
It's ready.
Good evening.
Whatever.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay, so I guess my first question is, of course, the RV garage is kind of the thing we're focused on. Talking about the 14-foot height for the door. Is that, I think, are there 12-foot doors? I'm just curious, like, if that can be diminished at all?
So it's a 13-foot, 6-inch height that it's a pretty standard, industry standard height most RVs have because 12 feet ish, and then we have the air conditioning. And so that's that extra 13, 16 inches, so it's industry standard height in most RVs, but as you look at some extremely expensive or a little bit top. They're generally 13.6, or in an RV, the RV world, RV garage at 14-foot height is relatively normal. I actually have a picture of the house we just sold, which we built in the ground up, and basically the same one. It's going to be very similar color. And that's actually the same color and the same garage door. Other features of the home are the same, but yeah, at least you'll have an understanding of how more or less what it's going to look like as a finished product.
I'm also curious if you considered setting the RV garage back, that looks like there's really quite a bit of room still in the setback zone, which might help the RV not be so dominant in the street, especially because that street kind of curves around. I worry that it's gonna be better. Sure. Probably where it is right now. So that's why I'm curious about, like, could you set it back? So.
Yeah, actually, well, that is the placement of the RV. RV was done by the architect, not really good. And so kind of taking a lead on it. In that regard, I said, sure, look great, and there's plenty of space in the front of the RV, the property line, I believe. Like where it's supposed to be said, probably 60 feet or so, but in the back, there's plenty of space for it could easily push further back, absolutely.
I mean, I personally much prefer that idea because what ends up happening is like when you're in perspective viewing it, if it's set back, it doesn't, yeah, it's set back, that really diminished. So you can still have that height, but it isn't so overwhelming for the street. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you you want to consider that.
And then can you bring the fancy picture up of the front,
Make the elevation
or the finish?
Yeah, the other,
Finish
yeah, the other.
there,
Yeah, yeah, so and it's hard to tell an elevation because it was probably still look this way, the elevation, but because you don't get depth.
The dimension or the TV kind of
Yeah.
aspect there, yeah, so.
But
If you do the prior picture where it's overhead, yeah, that kind, so as you see it, and I don't think it's on there, maybe you know, there's the difference between where the front, the single car garage is and the other unit. It appears that that's roughly between 5 and maybe 7 feet-ish. So if there's not a straight line and architecturally, aesthetically, and it looks very accurate, it would be a good idea either to push it behind the single car garage by a foot or two, or in front of it a foot or two, rather than at a level, right?
Yeah.
And so pushing it further back, where necessary, keep me whatever the architectural setting or would make it right. I think what always reduce that from where it's at now, to is that what I'm talking about 10 feet, roughly, about 10 feet.
So one of the benefits I see from your perspective also will be that on that west side, that this RV garage might provide some beneficial shade.
Oh,
To your
yeah.
backyard, things which I think would be a really nice benefit to you, as long as it still works with what you're planning doing back there.
Not with grass, a little grass patch to run around, kids, not really much more than that, there was, unfortunately, we had to come out, and they were on its way down. A very old cedar tree, but the gentleman I bought the home from, put, like a metal pillar, like a 4x4 post, but a metal one. It was tilting over, and I'm like, I just didn't wanna chance that, so that was the first one that came down, but unfortunately, it took the shade of it, something,
Yeah.
so yeah, this would be, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to see the finished problem, like, it's maybe a general idea?
Yeah, great.
And board with all these format up, this is good conversation, allow you to enhance that, because as we work towards objective standards. Should we have further RV garage requests? We can codify must be set back 10 feet from front facade, must be set back 20 feet from front facade. Little alliterations, procedures, those are the sorts of things that help this conversation.
Although this is, if you, maybe you pass it around, there's several pictures, there's an well, that's. Eventually you'll get to the front courtyard, and it's gonna be similar also, but the colors will remain pretty much what's in there.
Oh, so but in this one, these are facing.
You'll have the face down.
Yeah,
Kind of
so
like,
that's good, this is a nice execution. Yeah.
for this, we got one car, it's facing the opposite direction.
Well, like even the RV, you know what I mean, it's not what you're seeing from the street, so it actually just kind of gives you a really nice thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, but you're just saying it kind of finishes and.
Yeah.
this manipulated picture.
Well,
It's AI.
it's 2 years old, that was.
Right.
And then more of this, we're talking about the coming out, we're gonna do
Okay.
it.
I understand.
And there's several other ones, definitely get along with that, it comes out, couple of feet from the, right now, garage.
Yes.
Any more questions?
That's all I.
I have a quick question, in the event that when, at the time of submitting for the permit, or building permits, if we reduce the RV garage by some square feet, whatever, I don't know, whatever, and if we reduce some items, then we, at the end, are left with roughly 400 square feet. Can you go back to the aerial view, shot real quick? Yeah, that'll work. Right here, roughly, whatever 400 square feet would it be possible we're within our 30% to have a casita.
So, Aaron, I'll be happy to answer your question. The first part of your question regarding changes. You have a threshold in which administratively, we can approve changes to a board's recommendation. It's somewhat like 5%, 10%, or substantial conformance. It's a loose way to say what is being presented to you, to them, should not change when you get to the building permit without them seeing it once again, so. That sort of change that is internal, that does not affect the front facade, that doesn't affect the architecture, there aren't any changes to the request based on their review and enforcement of section 39, which is the design review section. It should not be a need to come back.
Okay,
You're not doing it. Your other question about the casita, is this a casita you're requesting to be part of the home or detached?
So, real quick before I get, the reason I even asked this is it kind of seems, I rationale before is I'll take the blame, but miscalculated, I didn't know the exact numbers, so when we didn't have to put together, that's why it's over a little bit, because we thought we only not had that, we thought we had
Yeah,
more later, right?
Yeah.
So, that's where it's popped up, and so she was at a time, it popped up in the last, what, this year or the year before, when the email popped up, so
Yes.
they're relatively fresh, but, it would be detached, the entrance would be from either the single car garage, or, there'll be another door external to that. Both decided, so inside the home, there's a hallway that leads to the garage somewhere right here, and then there's a door that is going to be a door outside. That was eventually intended that door was intended to actually go into the casita at some point. Anyway, that's why that is there, but, so that's your question, that's.
okay, so we have to divide those standards. If you are detached, you must be 10 feet away from the house from all points.
Okay, I'm on the structure.
On its own, that is because of fire ratings.
Okay.
If one catches on fire, it cannot catch the other on fire. That is international building code as well as the your fire department's regulations. So unless you made all of your structure a 1 hour firewall and all of the casino 1 hour firewall at a significant cost, it needs to be 10 feet of separation between, and that's between all your columns of the porch in the back as well. It has to be 10 feet from any part of your primary structure. Your insurance will also thank you for doing this. Still on your drugs, you don't want to lose the claim.
Or.
It is, yes, if it is attached, then it is part of the principal structure of that house, and those sorts of setbacks don't come into play. Instead, these setbacks that Lydia has shown come into play. So as long as you're within your building envelope, you're just fine. The other thing you keep in mind is the city of Litchfield Park does not allow ADU in the sense of a separate dwelling. That is because of our adjacency to Luke Air Force Base, we cannot increase density on a flight path. So any sort of casita we consider. We don't consider anything other than a guest house. A guest house is either for a relative or for temporary stay. That is what is permitted. That can also not have cooking facilities. What we mean by that is the 220 volt, but air fryers and pressure
So that would count as under roof too then, because it was like, the guy bought it at Costco or something, it's like a little bit,
Well, are you?
It looked a little bigger than a Costco thing.
the reason I say Costco, because I was over there and they had one similar, whether it was, I don't know the dimension, but it's a prefab gazebo, yeah. Honestly, at this point, we were just gonna put it off to the corner, and then if we found use for it later, I guess use it, but we had no intentions of. It's not in our plans right now.
So, thank you. And to the board member's point, it needs to be shown, any structure that has a roof needs to be shown on Lydia's plans.
Okay.
Because all of that does count. The reason we have these sorts of things is not only for the separation of houses, because you buy a lot expecting a certain level of separation between your neighbors. It also deals with the stormwater runoff.
No, I'm sorry?
Stormwater runoff.
Okay.
It rains, at some point when you make everything impermeable, that goes into the street. It goes into the street, you flood the street.
Right, okay.
So there is a limitation on that as well, to make sure that you don't create waterfalls onto the city's street instead of into your own yard.
Music to my ears, because I wanted to get rid of it the day and I was like, that's the first thing going, and my wife said, that's not happening, and so, I got out vetoed, as it often happens at our house with me, and so now I'm like, legally, I have to get rid of it. I have no choice, I have no.
But, how many fire sprinkler houses have you built?
One.
Oh,
Cause I was only required, because of the 5,000 square foot one, which is the one I just showed you. And a duplex,
oh,
but, so I guess two, but as far as single family homes, one, and a duplex in Avondale. But the 5,000 square foot thing, because I think is a pretty, I'm almost certain most municipalities have that.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but the guy that does it, obviously the gentleman or the company who does it normally, at least they did in the last two, they normally are the ones who file for the permit and the whole plan and the schematics behind that, generally speaking, right? Is that, I guess more that's a random question, right?
These are things,
The fire sprinkler company, they usually.
you're correct.
you're doing a standard wet.
Standard, but yeah, with the, I forget with the orange,
Have you looked around about other ways?
actually, no.
Oh, it may be worth your while to look and see what's out there. Cause I did one over down at Paradise Valley, what, 8 years ago now, maybe 9 years ago. And it was tied into the house water, so we had to run an 1.5 inch line. It was 6,000 square foot building, and the nice thing was using one main, or all your water is actively changed, and they had it proven by a university or 2 universities that the water change once every 7 hours, the water moved.
From the whole house, right, from
The whole house.
including the fire sprinkler.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason the fire department liked it, and at town of Paradise Valley, they in city of Phoenix were looking and wondering, and they like it because if an old fire sprinkler goes off, they absolutely have to mask up because they don't know what kind of water is in there, and it's very.
Oh, I see, yeah, could have been saturated.
So that's why this combined system works out very well.
You know, I don't know if the house that was just the one I showed you, had that, because, so there's a little bell, right, the little, if something happens, the bell goes off. On the backyard, next to one of the hose bibs, the regular hose bib. And then another hose bib that looked like, you would clamp something to it, like a smaller hose bib line. And it had a different lever, like just a standard lever, if you, well, I remember one of the, right before we moved in, one of the workers was cleaning out a bucket. And the water hose was being used by someone else, and so he opened it, and water poured out, and the bell went up.
Yeah.
And then, that was it, and so what you're saying, I don't know if that was the same type of system, because it was.
No, that system you're talking about, for the test, you have to have pressure.
Pressure,
you know, because all those heads had to operate at the same time, which is what this system does. But the water change is the big thing.
So there has to be some sort of.
You move it and mix it.
Yeah, different, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be circulation pump, it has to be connected to the, like, the regular water system, it's not its own standalone system, is that what you're, that's.
Right, it's gotta
that's what you're
flow
saying?
together, yeah, okay, well, I didn't, yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't have a laptop anymore that is showing you what the request is, but you all have laptops, so you can see the same thing that we would have shown you on the presentation. So PZ 2603 has four stipulations, and I would entertain any sort of recommendation to the zoning administrator from the board.
Well, I mean, I'll make a motion that we approve the zoning administrator, that package is approved with the stipulation that the RV garage be recessed from the street a bit further.
I can take your recommendations to the zoning administrator for further.
Is that good, like specific enough?
That's all we can do is make recommendations.
Yes.
But we're recommending to zoning.
That's
like,
correct,
if you-
yes.
that motion,
Yes, that's just fine.
We still have to vote on the motion, right? Or we just generally are giving you recommendations?
Board member Dudley, we still entertain an informal vote that basically you've made a recommendation. We still would appreciate a second and a action on your motion that's been seconded.
Okay.
So an informal means we can bring out the beer.
Yeah.
The City of Litchfield Park does not recognize board member Derry and any mentions of any alcoholic consumption during these times.
Okay.
I will edit it later.
Is there a number, 10 feet, or we recommend, or maybe the zoning?
To be honest with you, I personally, I think I would leave it open to the applicant, because there may be considerations that you find as when you're making the changes that, you know, if I throw out a number, it may not work for you.
Right, put something in the back perhaps.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So I guess the recommendation is that it be set back as much as possible from the.
Cause it is on it, when I saw it, cause I thought it was gonna be like the single car, 2 feet, maybe another 2 feet. When I saw, and it's hard to say how much, but I know it's more than 2 feet, but it's to be up to 10 feet or.
Yeah, so just as much as you.
Actually, yeah, about 10 feet,
And
actually.
with that single car garage, the question is, are you gonna match the single car, or are you gonna go behind it so you have a stair step?
No, yeah, I'm just staying behind it, right? Like you're saying.
No, not totally behind it, just offset from the front.
That's what I mean.
The front.
Yeah, I'll try to make that couple roughly from where it's at. Roughly about 10 feet, maybe even 12 feet, because I believe we're coming forward 3 feet from, on the RV garage from the line of the house, 3 feet. And the garage is 12 feet, so that leaves 9 feet. So about 11 feet back, it's actually roughly, maybe 12 feet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Board members, just to stay clear on things, there is a motion. It requires a second or the motion dies just before we get into more conversation.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you for the microphones. Okay, there's a motion and a second. If there is any further conversation, now would be the time for the conversation.
Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Another aye. Any opposed? No. So we're done. Okay.
Eric, thank you for coming tonight.
Absolutely,
You
thank you
are
guys, I
welcome
appreciate
to-
that.
Head on out.
Well, you guys as well, you guys are like me, you know. So thank you, anybody else, if there's any other questions, otherwise, I appreciate your time, thank you.
Thank you.
The name of the system, which is
Okay.
I hear these people a lot.
Any staff reports?
I gotta go think about it.
Okay, well.
I'll give me your copy.
Any board members' reports on current events?
Board member reports.
Hearing none, get a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion. that we adjourn.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Done.
Thank you, council member.
You're welcome. Thank you.